Think you've seen every Western worth watching? Think again. The 1980s hid some wild treasures in plain sight, Western heist movies packed with swagger, sharp wit, and daring robberies. But these aren't your granddad's classics. They're the dusty gems most folks missed, loaded with train jobs, bank raids, double crosses, and enough standoffs to keep your heart racing. So here's the big question. How many of these wild rides have you actually seen? Saddle up, because these outlaw tales don't wait for slowpokes. The Legend of the Golden Gun, 1980. You know a Western's worth its salt when gold isn't just a prize, it's a curse. In The Legend of the Golden Gun, a young farmer and a mysterious gunman blaze a trail across dangerous territory, hunting down William Quantrill. The catch? There's a map to stolen gold everyone wants, and every hand is itching to pull a fast one. The film jumps from back alley deals to dusty shootouts, with side characters you can't trust, and twists at every corner. Instead of settling old scores with just bullets, these heroes have to think fast, bluff, and outmaneuver both outlaws and the law. In one breath, you're following a tense chase through ravines. In the next, you're swept up in a tense face-off inside a creaky saloon where even the piano player's sweating. For a made-for-TV Western, this one swings above its weight, bringing big screen energy and plenty of grit. The real hook is the way the heist keeps shifting. The gold changes hands, alliances crumble, and everyone's playing a dangerous game of who blinks first. If you want a Western where the stakes just keep getting higher, and every sunset could mean a double cross, The Legend of the Golden Gun is a forgotten classic begging to be rediscovered. The Shadow Riders, 1982. Some Westerns tell you right from the start, nobody gets out clean. The Shadow Riders kicks off after the Civil War when two brothers, played by Sam Elliott and Tom Selleck, find their family taken hostage by a ruthless gang. That's just the opening hand. The outlaws aren't satisfied with revenge. They want a massive train job, aiming to snatch up a fortune and vanish across the border. The movie throws you from candlelit standoffs to wild horseback pursuits, all while the brothers piece together a plan that means outfoxing not just hardened criminals, but the law on their tails. The beauty of the Shadow Riders is its heart. Every scheme comes with a cost. Every stolen glance is loaded with risk. The heist scenes are a blend of high tension and rough humor, with local townsfolk and reluctant allies getting swept into the fray. This isn't a shootout for its own sake, it's a carefully laid chess game where even a wrong word can get you buried under desert sand. Family ties and loyalty drive the suspense, but it's the twisting heist plot that keeps you guessing until the final train whistle blows. If you want to see Western legends racing the clock, this is one ride you can't miss. Draw, 1984. Bank robbers and lawmen are a dime a dozen in Westerns, but Draw flips the deck. It's a showdown between two legends, Kirk Douglas as the aging outlaw and James Coburn as the stubborn sheriff, locked together by fate after a failed bank job goes off the rails. The real heist? It's psychological. Both men find themselves trapped in a hotel, surrounded by townsfolk and trigger-happy deputies, with a fortune hanging in the balance. What starts as a guns-blazing standoff spins into a battle of wits, as each tries to outmaneuver the other with bluffs, bargains, and a wicked sense of humor. The dialogue snaps like a whip, and every pause in the action is a chance for the tables to turn. You'll find yourself rooting for both men, even as the lines between hero and villain blur with each passing minute. There's gold at stake, sure, but it's the pride and legend of these two men that hangs in the air like smoke. Draw is a hidden gem, sharp, funny, and full of double crosses, where the heist is never quite what it seems, and the real prize is survival itself. Rustler's Rhapsody, 1985. Rustler's Rhapsody isn't just a parody. It's a sly tribute to every Western cliché, packing a clever heist right at its core. Tom Berenger steps into the boots of Rex O'Hurlihan, a classic singing cowboy who rides into a town crawling with corrupt ranchers and wily outlaws. Here's the twist. Nothing is as simple as it looks. Every shootout, ambush, and sudden betrayal is part of a layered con, with rival gangs scheming for control of the town's hidden riches. The movie piles on the disguises, trick plays, and fake-outs, turning each encounter into a wild, unpredictable game. Berenger's Rex is constantly a step ahead, outsmarting a rival gunfighter and a bumbling gang who never quite realize they're being played. The laughs come quick, but the suspense never drops. Every joke hides a sharp edge, and the next reversal is always just around the corner. What starts as small-time cattle rustling soon explodes into a mad dash for the ultimate prize. Rustler's Rhapsody doesn't just poke fun at the genre, it reinvents it, proving that a smart, self-aware Western can still pack real surprises. If you want a heist movie that winks at tradition while delivering genuine thrills, this overlooked gem deserves a spot on your list. Lightning, the White Stallion, 1986. You wouldn't expect a family film to pull off a classic Western heist, but Lightning, the White Stallion, does just that. The story follows a young orphan who bonds with a legendary wild horse, only to find himself targeted by a greedy landowner, hungry for more than just property. There's buried treasure in the mix, and before long, the hero and his friends are racing to outwit a gang bent on robbing the town blind. The plot is pure Western: secret tunnels, coded messages, and a desperate plan to turn the tables when all seems lost. There are no easy outs. Every close call feels earned. Every ally has their own agenda. Lightning isn't just a horse. He's the key to unraveling the villain's plan and saving a community on the brink of collapse. The heist sequences are surprisingly tense, with chase scenes that'll have you gripping your seat and clever distractions that would make any outlaw proud. It's a forgotten flick with heart and grit, showing you don't need a high body count for a heist to feel truly dangerous. For fans of under-the-radar westerns, Lightning, the White Stallion, rides tall. The Long Riders, The Outlaw Years, 1980 TV movie. Think you know the James Younger Gang? This TV sequel to the original Long Riders flips the script, diving into the gang's lesser-known exploits. The heist at the heart of the film isn't a simple smash and grab. It's a calculated assault on a payroll train, one last job before everything unravels. The film sets the stage with a sense of dread, lawmen closing in, rival gangs ready to betray, and every member feeling the cracks. The setup is meticulous: timing, misdirection, and a network of lookouts. You can almost feel the sweat on their brows as the plan unfolds, but nothing in the West goes as expected. Double agents sow chaos, and a gunfight on the tracks leaves loyalties shattered. The score is big, but the cost is bigger. What's most striking is how the movie shows the human side of outlawry. Each gang member faces a personal reckoning as the heist draws near. The robbery itself is staged with grit and realism, no glamorous quick escape, just the clatter of hooves, flying bullets, and desperate choices. When it's all over, the loot is only half the story. Regret, suspicion, and unfinished business linger in the dust. If you want a Western heist with weight, The Long Riders, The Outlaw Years delivers both thrills and heartbreak. Alamo, The Price of Freedom, 1988. Don't let the title fool you, Alamo. The Price of Freedom isn't just about the siege. It's about a desperate, high-risk heist that could change everything for those inside. With supplies dwindling and hope fading, a ragtag group hatches a plan to break through enemy lines and liberate a wagon train full of guns and gold. The stakes are clear: succeed, and the defenders might stand a chance. Fail, and the whole mission turns into a death sentence. The tension is relentless. Each move outside the battered walls is a gamble. Each shadow hides both friend and foe. The heist unfolds as a game of misdirection and courage, with fake surrenders, split-second decisions, and moments where even the bravest nearly break. There's no superheroics here, just sweat, grit, and the constant threat of betrayal. When the ambush finally hits, it's a whirlwind of musket fire, flying lead, and narrow escapes. Gold and guns are both a prize and a curse, bringing a new sense of urgency, but also a fresh wave of trouble. Alamo. The Price of Freedom doesn't flinch from showing how a good heist can change the odds, even as it demands the ultimate price from those bold enough to try. Ghost Riders is a Western that brings an eerie twist to the classic robbery plot. The film opens with a gang of ruthless outlaws staging a daring bank robbery, but their greed leads them to desecrate sacred ground as they escape with their loot. Fast forward 100 years, and their vengeful spirits ride again, terrorizing a small Texas town. But the heart of the film remains the original Heist, an action-packed sequence of daring break-ins, rooftop chases, and a tense standoff inside a crumbling church. The movie layers suspense by switching between past and present, showing how the sins of the fathers come back to haunt. The heist isn't just about money, it's about pride, betrayal, and the dark legacy left behind. The robberies are gritty, chaotic, and fueled by desperation. Nobody leaves unchanged. The supernatural twist turns every gold coin into a potential curse, adding new stakes to old-school outlaw action. Ghost Riders might not be on everyone's radar, but its blend of classic Western heist tension and ghostly vengeance makes it a truly unique ride. If you want your cowboy capers with a touch of the uncanny, don't let this one pass you by. The Tracker 1988 TV movie. The Tracker might sound like a straightforward pursuit tale, but hiding at its center is a bold heist plot. Chris Christopherson stars as Noble Adams, a legendary tracker pulled out of retirement to find a gang that's just robbed an armored stagecoach. The loot? Not just gold, but a secret stash destined to fund a land grab. Adams and his reluctant city slicker son hit the trail, weaving through betrayals and ambushes as they follow the money's bloody wake. The heist itself is staged with military precision, featuring decoys, fake trails, and an inside man who never quite reveals his cards. But the real drama comes from the cat-and-mouse chase across punishing terrain, where every clue is a trap and every showdown has consequences. The tension builds as father and son clash over honor, survival, and what justice really means. There's no shortage of gunfights and tense standoffs, but the movie shines brightest when it digs into the cost of crime, who pays, who profits, and who walks away empty-handed. The Tracker is a heist film at its heart, full of grit, clever plotting, and a few surprises that even hardened Western fans won't see coming. The Gambler, The Adventure Continues, 1983. When it comes to Western heists, few do it with as much style and swagger as The Gambler, The Adventure Continues. Kenny Rogers returns as Brady Hawks, the legendary card sharp with a knack for trouble. This time, a train loaded with gold and a fortune in payroll draws the attention of every outlaw from Kansas to the Rio Grande. But Hawks isn't just chasing the money. He's drawn into a twisting web of blackmail, double agents, and old enemies looking for revenge. The tension ratchets up as Hawks and his unpredictable allies cook up a scheme to outsmart both the law and the gang holding the train hostage. There's deception, disguised identities, and plenty of split-second choices that keep the plot barreling forward. Every act feels like a poker hand, with the audience never sure who's bluffing and who's got the winning cards. The heist is both tense and clever, blending classic shootouts with sleight of hand, smoke screens, and clever traps. What truly sets this one apart is the banter and camaraderie. There's heart beneath the hats, and every character is fighting for something bigger than a sack of gold. If you want a Western that mixes suspense, charm, and just the right dose of humor, this installment of The Gambler is a winning hand. Redemption, The Gunfighter's Secret, 1988, Indie. Some Westerns whisper their way through history, and Redemption, The Gunfighter's Secret, is one of those rare atmospheric gems. The story centers on an aging gunfighter, haunted by the ghosts of his past, lured out of hiding for one last job, a daring bank robbery in a dying frontier town. What makes this heist different is its slow burn. The crew isn't a well-oiled machine, but a band of outcasts, each carrying regrets and secrets. The plan is built on timing and trust, but every step is a test of old loyalties and new betrayals. The bank job is loaded with tension, from the first nervous glances to the final desperate escape through empty streets. There's a sense of fatalism here, as if everyone knows there's no riding into the sunset this time. The heist scenes are quiet, gritty, and edged with real danger. It's not about a pile of cash, it's about one man's shot at redemption and whether he's willing to pay the price. With strong performances and a mood that lingers, this forgotten indie western stands as proof that sometimes the smallest stories pack the biggest punch. Desperado, Avalanche at Devil's Ridge, 1988, TV movie. Sometimes, a Western heist is less about gold and more about survival, and Desperado, Avalanche at Devil's Ridge, proves just that. Alex McGregor, a drifter with a shadowy past, finds himself caught between a ruthless mining company and desperate townsfolk. When word spreads of a payroll shipment coming in by Mountain Pass, everyone's got a plan, and nobody's telling the truth. The ensuing heist is a masterclass in deception. Tunnels collapse, alliances shift, and blinding snow hides more than just footprints. The movie milks every ounce of suspense from the setting, trapping its characters between an avalanche and the law closing in. What makes this story stand out is the unpredictability. One minute the outlaws are working together, the next it's every man for himself. The heist becomes a game of endurance, wit, and sheer luck, with nature itself as the wildest adversary. Amid double crosses and narrow escapes, McGregor's real treasure becomes clear, a chance to start over. Desperado, Avalanche at Devil's Ridge is a snowbound, suspense-packed caper that doesn't let up until the last shot echoes through the canyon. So, how many of these wild Western heists have slipped past your radar? Each one serves up outlaws, close calls, and the kind of clever schemes you don't see every day. Maybe it's time to trade in the usual classics for something bolder, rougher, and a little more unpredictable. Which one are you tracking down first? Share your pick, hit that subscribe button, and join us for more hidden gems. Because in the wild world of Westerns, the next big score is always one movie away.